And good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's session on content creation in Canvas, or getting started building your online course. This is sort of the first follow-on in our series of Canvas seminars after the basic introduction, because probably the first thing you do when you start working on your Canvas course is put your course content and your subject matter content and your syllabus and things like that into the course. And in such a way that your students can then access that content asynchronously, that is on their own time schedule. You put it in and they can look at it anytime they want to. One of the fundamental activities of online or distance education, and one of the most valuable things we can do with Canvas, which is provide our course content to our students. And that course content can range from lecture notes to full-up lecture transcripts to recorded lectures from Zoom or other sources. It can include PowerPoint presentations, either just the slide decks themselves, the PowerPoint files, or more usefully, recorded presentations using your PowerPoint slides, where you actually narrate and present your slides, much as you would in a live classroom or a live meeting or whatever, and yet at the same time recording it so that it can be placed into a Canvas module so that your students can view it later at their convenience. It can include links to content outside of Canvas, external links or web links. There's that incredible wealth of free information on the internet that you can include in your courses. And Canvas gives you ways to share all of these types of content with your students. Let's take a quick look at our outline for this morning so get an idea of where we're going. Go ahead and share my screen. Zoom's massive superpower here. What you're seeing now, of course, is my Zoom screen. Zoom has a setting that will allow you to share your Zoom screens with your students as well as whatever else you have on your computer. But let me get that out of the way. We don't need that right now. And here's our syllabus, if you will, for this morning. We'll start off by talking a little bit about how you can get help with Canvas. This is a very early Canvas seminar in the process of learning to use Canvas, so that's one of the most important things we can talk about. Then we'll talk about how you can add content, and by content I specifically mean content of the sort that you might deliver as a handout in class, or a lecture in a classroom, in a face-to-face course, as opposed to assessments, which we'll deal with later on next week in our course on assessments in Canvas. So Canvas really kind of gives you three basic capabilities. It allows you to share content with your students, which is what we're going to be talking about today.
Every 2 hours.
Let's see.
Okay, put it up.
You are all muted, but you can unmute yourselves at any point to ask a question. I would appreciate it during the presentation if you would keep the questions to the topic that we're discussing at that time, because I may very well cover your question later on in the session. You're welcome to put questions into the chat tool at any time, and I promise you I will not leave until all of those questions are answered.
Somebody is asking if they could record it, Dave, in the chat.
Yes, that is possible. I don't want to spend too much time on that right now because we are recording this, and I will put this online for you shortly. But it is possible in Zoom to give participants the right to record, but it has to be done one at a time. So who is that making that request?
That was me, Dave. James Trupasso.
Ah, James, I
So I
see you.
can take just
Okay.
segments of the whole session, just
There you
small.
go.
Okay.
You now have the right to record. It will record to your local hard drive, not to the Zoom cloud. But you can do that, and that won't affect the rest of the meeting at all. So you don't have
Thank
to
you.
worry about doing it. You bet. All right. And you can unmute yourselves at any time. All right. We'll talk generally about importing existing content from sources that you may or may not have access to. And then we'll talk about putting your own content manually into your course and building your course from scratch. We'll talk about how to do both of those things. So let's go ahead and get started with that. We'll go to Canvas. And I have a typical Canvas course up here. Let me drop back to the dashboard. This is a demonstration course that I built from an old online flex course that we used to do. It contains most of the features of a typical online course, but it's fairly small and short, so it's easy to use for demonstration purposes. There's not a massive amount of content in it. And as is fairly typical with Canvas courses, I have an opening page set. I'll show you how to do that as well toward the end of the meeting today. But we'll spend most of our time today in the heart of any Canvas course, the Modules tool, which you can access from the course menu by clicking on the modules as Canvas students. And in many cases, indeed, in a lot of Canvas courses, this is the course entry point, or the first thing that students see, because this is the heart of the course. Canvas uses structures, objects called modules, to provide links to your students, to content, to assessments, to communication tools, etc. All the things that you can do within Canvas. Each module tends to contain related links. It's typical to have a first module in a Canvas course that has the sorts of information in it that you would provide to students on the first day of class. Things like your syllabus, information about you, a welcome, and maybe a quiz on the syllabus, though we're not going to be talking too much about assessments today. And all of these things are typically things that you do on the first day of class. So it's typical to have a first module that has all of that content in it, or links to all of that content. The content may actually live somewhere else in Canvas, but you can upload it, you can manage it, you can organize it all from within the modules tool here. Indeed, most of what you do in Canvas in building your course can be done from right here. And we'll emphasize that today. Once you have all of this getting started or introductory or welcome type material into your course, then you'll typically start adding your subject matter content. And indeed, this can be everything from reading assignments in the textbook to lecture notes that you have compiled over the years that maybe you handed out to your students in class. Maybe you didn't because they were too massive to effectively run off and hand to them on paper. Well, you don't have those kind of limitations anymore. You can provide your students with just about any type of content that you have that you're willing to share with them, regardless of how voluminous or how large the files are. It, again, might include PowerPoint presentations, though a PowerPoint slide deck in and of itself is not that useful because most of the information in a PowerPoint presentation is in your narration of that presentation. But you can also record your narration along with your slides and provide that to the students in your, as links in your modules. And again, of course, you can also provide access to content outside of Canvas and all that huge wealth of material available on the internet. But this way, by putting it into modules that are organized by topic or by week or by chapter in the book, you can present that wealth of information in context. You can curate what you feel is most useful and not too overwhelming for your students, and you can drop that right into a module. And you typically see a series of subject matter modules, and they may be subdivided or organized by topic, as I've done here in your course, or by week. You may have a week 1 module, week 2 module, week 3, and so on. You may have a modules organized by chapters in the textbook, or however you logically subdivide your course material in your mind. You can create modules and then populate those modules with items, with links to content and assessments and communication tools that the students will need in order to learn what they need to learn for that subdivision, that portion of your course. You can have as many modules as you need to. Typically, the modules look a lot like one another. They contain the same sorts of content over and over again, but on different areas of your course. So you'll see lecture notes, PowerPoint presentations, reading assignments, things like that in each module. So each module will typically look a lot alike, just covering different sections of your course. Each module here, of course, is the portion surrounded by white space. So creating this structure in Canvas is what we're going to be talking about today, and adding your course or subject matter content to it. And then later on next week, we'll be dealing with adding your assessments to it. And later on, we also have a session on communication in Canvas. So the 3 major things you're going to be doing in Canvas are providing subject matter content to your students, assessing your students' mastery of that content, and providing them with communication tools that allow them to communicate with them to communicate with you, and them to communicate with one another. And those are the 3 basic functions that Canvas provides you with. So I just wanted to show you this to give you an idea of what an online course looks like in Canvas. It's a series of modules, and ideally, if the modules are well organized and complete, the student should almost never have to go to the course menus over here to find something. Links to everything they need typically are in the modules, so that when the student gets into the course, they go to the top of the first module. You direct them there by one of a number of means, including just making this the first thing they see, if you like. And they start with the first link in the first module. Little welcome video there. And then they always have at the bottom of the content for that item, they have a next button that allows them to go to the next thing in the module, which in this case is a little bio. Once they get past the first page or the first item in the module, they can always go back the previous button here, so they don't have to stay in that modules tool. They can just move forward this way, but doing that keeps them moving through the content that you provide with them in context, in a logical order that you've learned is the best way, the best sequence in which to present your course material. So it makes it very easy for the students to know where to start and what to do next in each case. So they're never spinning their wheels wondering, oh, what now? Because that will discourage discourage and dispirit online students faster than anything. This is generally called modular course design, and it's what Canvas encourages, if not mandates, and it's what works best as the structure of the information delivery in a learning management system course like this, Canvas being an example of a so-called learning management system. So that's what we're going to try to produce here. So how do we go about that? Well, let's go and start working on that. The Canvas shells that you are provided with, and let me find my course that I just cleaned out for us to use. Uh-oh. What did I do with that? Sorry. Content creation. Come on, where'd it go? Is that the one? Nope, that ain't it. That's what we're trying to create. I hate it when Canvas moves stuff around in your dashboard without telling you, just because you made a change to it. That's the one I want. Very good. Okay, this is what your Canvas shells will look like when you get them. Your Canvas containers, the content containers. The content shells for your real courses, for your fall courses, of course, are made automatically, and you should already have them. They are created automatically by an integration process with PeopleSoft, which creates a Canvas shell for every course section that is taught at the district. Everybody, all courses have Canvas shells, whether they're used or not. We don't recommend typically that you create your course in your live shells, not because of Canvas, but because of PeopleSoft and the process of creating courses in PeopleSoft, in Campus Solutions. As changes are made in Campus Solutions, it affects your course shells in Canvas, because there's this automatic integration process that runs every 4 hours. And if something happens like a CRN change or a CN change or something like that in PeopleSoft, that can cause your Canvas shell for that course to be recreated. And the old one that you've maybe started working in may become inaccessible to you. That's not likely to happen after about a week before the beginning of the term, which is pretty much where we are right now. So right now, there's no real downside to actually working in your live shells. But typically, we recommend that you request so-called development shells or master shells, which you do have to ask for. But you need probably one of those at least for each of the courses that you teach, like one for English 101, one for English 205, and so on. And you want to do your development work generally in those shells. And then at the last minute, when the likelihood that PeopleSoft is going to trash your Canvas shell becomes very low, you can copy the content from your development shells into your live shells. And the process takes about a minute or two to do for each course. It's not a major task. It's something you can reasonably put off until you need your live shells. You can request those live shells through the Help button in Canvas, which is found in the so-called Global Access menu, this dark gray bar here on the left that you see in every Canvas screen. If you click on the Help button down near the bottom, you have a Canvas faculty support hotline where you can request those development shells. I do know that right now the hotline number is extremely backed up. We're hearing horror stories of people going in and being 80 or 90th in line for help. Canvas Instructure, quite frankly, has dropped the ball a little bit on this and did not ramp up their support staff in time for this. It's getting better, but it's not great right now. I will say right now, for now, if any of you need a development shell, you can ask me. I can get it done a lot faster. But at this point, it's safe to go ahead and work in your live shells. So that's also an option for you. All right, so, but whether it be a live shell or a development shell, this is what the shell looks like when you get it. It's a blank Canvas shell, there's nothing in it. So you've got to come up with some content. Well, it's no problem if you've been teaching this course in Canvas. You can always just pull the content from a previous course and drop it right in here, or from your development shell. You do that by going to the settings link in the course menu, which is way down here at the bottom of the screen on the left. And going over to the task menu on the right here, there's an option to import course content. You select that. You're asked what kind of content. And if you're pulling content from a course that you created, that you're the teacher in, on our Canvas system, you just select Copy a Canvas Course. You then tell Canvas which course you want to copy from. You have to type a little bit of the name of the course. Just keep typing until you see the one you want. Then, if you're copying content, all your content from one shell to another, you just select that option. Or if you just want to copy one or two files, or one or two discussion forums, or one or two content items from one course to another, you can select specific content. But usually you'll take everything. And then you just click import. And the process runs, and that content is dropped into your empty live shell when you're ready to go. But we're assuming in this seminar that you're starting from scratch one way or another. Another thing you can do to populate existing content quickly into your shell is to pull content. If you used to use, years ago, use Blackboard, perhaps, maybe as a supplement to your on-campus courses. If you did that, we still have access to that old content in Blackboard. We'll have that for another year or so. We can pull that content from Blackboard for you, or we can make it possible for you to do that yourself. And you can go through the same process here once you pull the course backups that were made before we turned our Blackboard system off. You can again go to settings and import course content, basically a similar process to what you do copying one Canvas course to another, and go to the Blackboard 6789 export.zip file option, and you tell Canvas which file you want to pick. Sorry about that. Somebody just came to the door here. I think my wife's getting it. Yes. See the wife and the dog going by. All right. And then you can, again, select all content and just import that. And that's still possible to do. If you have content on Blackboard that you haven't pulled over into Canvas, we can do that. Or we can help you do that. But even if you don't have either one of those options, there are other possibilities. You might have a colleague who teaches the same course that you do, who's willing to share their Canvas content. that's a big ask because, as you're going to see, it takes some time to develop a well-organized Canvas course. But some people are very generous with their content. I know people who've shared it with dozens of colleagues over the years. So it's worth looking around, checking with your department, checking with people you know who teach the same courses that you do, perhaps at your institution or another institution, and hoping they can provide you with a so-called Canvas export package of their content. And you can just drop that right into, using the same tool, the import course content tool. You can drop that right in, use it as a Canvas course export package. But failing all of those nice possibilities, you're not entirely without options for getting yourself a leg up on creating your own Canvas course, because there's also the Canvas Commons down here in your Canvas Global Access menu on the left. You can access that. And this takes you to a tremendous repository of online instructional content that is available for free, shared by your colleagues all over the country, and a lot of them in the California community colleges as well. And you can type in just about any keyword here, like a subject matter keyword, like, say, chemistry, my former subject, and you find just an incredible wealth. What do we have? Over 1,100 results of everything ranging from like individual modules we've talked about, and even single quizzes, and there's a quiz. You'll find individual files in places and so on, ranging right on up to full-size, full courses. Look at this. There are all those little blue circles, like with that icon in them, are full-blown courses that you can import right into your shell. You can keep what you like, throw away what you don't, and at least it gives you a starting point. There's also an open textbook company by the name of OpenStax, for whom we have a lot of content in the Canvas Commons. They've been working with the Online Education Initiative at the California Community Colleges, and have produced these wonderful ebooks, free online textbooks that you can use, that also include full-up Canvas courses that you can import. So I can pick a Canvas, I can look at the Canvas course and see if it fits my needs. That's just an outline of the course, basically the modules that are available in the course. It's quite extensive. Maybe not everything you'd need, but a lot of what you'd need. And all keyed to this free textbook that your students can use online, the ebook, for free. Or for about $50, they can get a paper copy of it if they want. And if you find something you like, you can just click import/download for that resource. Pick the course shell that you want to put it into, and click import into course.
Dave, I'm Georgiana
Yes.
Hooper. Hi. I have a question. I think it was last week. My name is Georgiana Hooper, and I'm in City. And I tried to start working on my Canvas. And what happened is that I tried to cross-list two of my courses,
Right.
and they did. It happened. But then now, you know that once you enter Canvas, it has that little announcement that your Canvas may duplicate or something. My course duplicated. Aletia, please, 1 minute.
I know they
So-
are having they're having some problems like that right now, where the sections have become a little scrambled, and they're working madly on correcting that before Monday. That's not something I have any contact with right now, unfortunately, but they are doing their best to correct those. They're aware of the situation, and they're working madly to correct that. They're not quite, some changes were apparently made in PeopleSoft that somewhat disrupted some of the, particularly the courses that were cross-listed. And they're trying to untangle that right now. I empathize.
Yeah, my question, I'm sorry, my question would be, if I were to start working in one of the, which module would you recommend for me to work on?
Well, I would definitely recommend you work right now in a development shell.
So then
in that
go
case,
and put out and request for that you
yeah.
mentioned.
And then when they get that sorted out, then you can just copy the content over into your live shell.
Okay,
That would be
that's
much
what I was
safer.
thinking, but I wanted to double check with you. Thank you very much for your help.
You bet. So that can give you a huge head start on developing your course. And those are all things worth considering. There's just a wealth of content in every subject matter you can imagine in the Canvas Commons. So it's worth taking a look. Even if you don't find an entire course that you want to use, you quite likely can find pieces of courses that you would like to have, and you're perfectly welcome to borrow those things and put them into your courses. All right, let's go back to our sandbox course here and start working, though, on the possibility that you're going to have to build it from scratch. Even if you don't have to build the course completely from scratch, you're certainly going to have to add a lot of your own content to it. So we want to make sure that you're comfortable doing that. So how do you get started? Well, this big icon right here is how you get started if you're building your course from scratch. You click this, and that creates your first module, like the ones we saw earlier in that other course. All you have to do at this point, at this stage, to create the module is give the module a name. I'm going to call this Getting Started. And then just click Add Module. And now you're in the Modules tool, which you can also access by clicking on this link in the course menu here. And there's your first blank module. Generally, the Canvas user interface is pretty intuitive. There are exceptions to that in any system, but and Canvas is no different. But it's usually pretty easy how to proceed, or pretty obvious how to proceed from a given point. If I want to add links to content to this module, what's the next thing I'm going to click on here? Usually it's on the screen.
Drop files.
Yeah, you could do this if you wanted to upload files. If you have a number of files on your local computer, like your syllabus, your lecture notes, your PowerPoint presentations, other handouts that you typically give in class, you can just click right here and choose files to add to the module. But there are other things that you might add to the module as well. And to give yourself a more general capability to add content to this module, you'll go over here to this plus sign in the name, in the title bar for the module. And this is your Add Item to Module button. You'll get so tired of clicking on that you won't be able to see straight. That is your primary tool that will allow you to add links to content to this module. So you just click on that Add button, and you're given the capability to add links to all sorts of different content items, assessments, communication tools, and so on. To see what all you can add to a module using this tool, you just open this menu here by clicking on it. And these are arranged in no particular logical order. An assignment is a homework assignment. We'll talk more about those in the section on session on assessment. Quizzes are obvious, but our content items that we have available here include files, pages, and external URLs and external tools. Those are the 4 types of content items that you can add to your Canvas course. And we're going to talk about each one in turn. Let's start with files, since that's the first thing we started talking about. You've got probably a bunch of files on your local computer or on a thumb drive or a backup drive or whatever that contain a lot of the course material that you use in your classroom, ranging from your syllabus, again, lecture notes, PowerPoint presentations, and so on. Selecting this option from the Add Item menu allows you to upload those files to Canvas and to provide a link to them in the module so that your students can access them. To add a file that's not already in Canvas, you just click New File, and you'll always have that option. And when you click New File, you get this button down here, which allows you to choose the file or files that you want to upload. You can upload multiple files at one time if you like. Let's say you have 2 or 3 PowerPoint presentations that you want to put in a module. You can upload them all at the same time. But let's keep it simple. Let's just click Choose Files. And a File Explorer window in Windows pops up, or a Finder window on the Mac. And you go and you start looking for your content that you have stored on your hard drive. Hopefully you can remember where you put it. It's harder for me every year. I've got some sample content here that I'll navigate to. And of course, in this Getting Started module, one of the first things you probably want to add is your syllabus. There's a syllabus. It's in the form of a Word document, and that's fine. You can upload just about any sort of file to Canvas, no matter what format it's in. Word documents, very common, PDFs, PowerPoint files, Excel spreadsheets, all are very common file types that you will upload into Canvas, but you can basically put anything into Canvas. The only thing you have to worry about is making sure that your students can view the content of those files. If they're common file types, like Microsoft Office file types, PowerPoint slides, Excel spreadsheets, Word documents, things like that, you don't have to worry. Canvas has you covered on those. And a number of other common things like PDF files as well. Canvas has server-side viewers built in that will take the file and pull the content out of it and display it in a convenient format to your students. Other file types there that may be more esoteric, like maybe an AutoCAD drawing or a file produced in some proprietary graphics program, a Photoshop file or something like that, may require that your students have an application on their local computer that can open that file, because if Canvas doesn't have a viewer for that file that will allow it to show that file to the students, it just downloads the file, and when the student clicks on the link in the module, the file just downloads to the student's computer and then waits for an application on the student's computer to start up and open it up. And if the student doesn't have that application, then they're not going to be able to use that file. But again, that's not a problem with most common file types. Canvas will take care of them. Word documents are certainly no problem. So I'm going to select that. In order to put that Word document or a link to that Word document into my folder or into my module that I'm building here, I just select that file and click Open. That tells Canvas what file to import. And then I just click this Add Item button in the lower right-hand corner here, and the file uploads to Canvas. and a link to it is placed in the module. So that's all there is to adding content files to Canvas. You just click Add Item, New File, choose Files, and let's see, and select the file you want to add and click Open. And then Add Item. You do that again and again and again. You can do it very quickly. And as I said, if you have a bunch of files in one folder on your hard drive, you can load them all at the same time. And once you get them in there, it's very easy to move them around within the module. So you don't have to worry about what order you load them in. Very easy to organize stuff within a module once you get it onto Canvas. These files don't actually live in this module. They live in a file storage area in your Canvas course, your course files, which you can access through the Files link in your course menu. Don't recommend you give your students access to that one, generally. And here are those files. This is like a file explorer, a little finder application within Canvas. These are files that I have just uploaded to Canvas. And you can do things here like rename them if it's needed, move them. You can create folders to store them, organize them in. You can delete them if you don't need them anymore. If you lose the local copy of it, you can download it from Canvas and so on. So this is your file manager that you won't have to use this very often. But it's nice to know you can get to those files if you need to look at one of them and remember what you've uploaded. And then we can go back to the module. And let me publish that module. Students cannot see anything in Canvas until you publish it. That ranges from a course to an individual content item within the course. Published in Canvas speak means make it available to students. These little green circles with the white check marks here indicate that all of this material would be visible to students if there were any students in this course, which there aren't yet. Modules can be published and unpublished as en masse. If a module is not published, nothing within it is visible to students. You can also publish and unpublish individual content items. And this determines whether students can see them or not. So if you're not ready for students to see something yet, if you're still working on it or thinking about how to use it, you can not publish it. But if you don't publish it, guarantee they will not see it. Same is true with the course as a whole. If we go to the home screen, in order to make your course as a whole visible and to your students and allow them to enter the course, you have to publish the course, which you do right here. If you decide you're really not ready yet, you can change your mind up to the point where students start actually submitting stuff to the course. Once that happens, you can't unpublish the course anyway. This button will go away. Typically, we recommend that you publish the course as soon as you expect your students to be using it, typically the first day of class, or maybe the night before the first day of class. But please, if the course, this doesn't happen automatically. This is something you have to do in Canvas yourself. And if it doesn't get done, guess who gets the phone calls? Our phone starts ringing off the hook. So we very much appreciate it if you remember to publish your course early, at the very least, early in the morning on the first day of class. All right, so we've added a couple of files to this module. In order for the students to view the files, they would just click on the link, which is the name of the file, and the file will come up. And if it's a common file type, like a Word document here, Canvas will start this viewer and show it to them. And that generally happens a lot faster than it would if the file had to be downloaded to the student's local computer. If Word or a Word viewer had to then start on their computer and then load this file. The student's going to see the file typically quite a bit faster this way. That's especially true with large PowerPoint presentations. If you've got a PPTX file, the PowerPoint slide file that is huge, it can take it quite a bit of time to download to the student's computer, and then quite a bit of time to open up in PowerPoint or a PowerPoint viewer on that student's computer. Here, you don't have to worry about that. Here, it will open up in a file viewer. If it's a large PowerPoint, it may still take quite a while, but it won't take nearly as long as it would if this file had to download to the student's computer and open there, which is the case for file types that Canvas doesn't have viewers for. But most of the things you'll put up there will have viewers like this. The student can read the document. They can zoom in if they need to. They can jump from page to page. They can full screen this so that it's easier to see, and so on. It's really a good way to provide this document to the students. If this document is something that the student needs to have a copy of, though, so that they can maybe print it out on paper if that's their choice, they can also click this link here, which will download that document to their local hard drive, and they can choose where to save it. And any file that you put into Canvas can be downloaded by the students. That's something you want to be aware of. All right. If you don't want that to happen, there's an alternative content object that you can use in lieu of files that you have created on your offline, on your local computer, or somebody's you've downloaded from somewhere or somebody's given you. And that is the Canvas page. It's the other most important content object, so-called, in Canvas. If I click my add item to module button again, and indeed, let's go and let's make another module here. You make modules much the same way you add files. You can add as many modules as you like. You'll probably have several. I'll call this one just topic module 1. But, you know, you could say week 1, it could be named week 1, chapter 1. It could be a topic, title, whatever. You can call it anything you like. And now we have another module, and we can add content to that. And we might add, instead of files, here we might add a Canvas page. Canvas pages are files, but they're files that are created on Canvas rather than being created offline and loaded up into Canvas. And to create a page, all I have to do is click New Page and give it a name. This might be okay, and then we just add the item, and there's a page. But it's not magic. It doesn't have content in it yet. It's just an empty page. To add content to that page, we just click on it and click the Edit button associated with it. And now we're presented with what's called the Canvas Rich Content Editor that we'll spend much of our day dealing with and learning how to use much of the rest of the day. This is your content creation tool in Canvas. You can think of it as kind of a mini Microsoft Word or a mini Dreamweaver if you're a web person. It's a content creation tool. It's a text editor, but it's far more than that. It also allows you to include all sorts of media and other types of useful content into this Canvas page. Basically, what you're doing here is creating a web page, which will live in Canvas, will live, in fact, in your Pages tool in Canvas over here. When I go into the editor, I automatically go into that tool. And I can now type content. I can copy and paste, I can paste content in from other sources like Word documents or something like that that I already have. I can add links to all sorts of media, rich media. And I can just generally create very complex, sophisticated content pages to share information with my students. I might have the type in the name of the course. I can certainly type into this. I have all the usual text editing tools here. I can center, left justify or right justify a line. I can bold, italicize, underline, well, maybe not underline. I can change text color and background color. I can indent things. I can make bulleted lists, numbered lists, all the usual stuff you expect to be able to do with a text editor. Superscripts, subscripts, if you're doing some kind of technical or mathematical notation. So you can type or paste content into this, textual content into it to your heart's content. You can also, of course, govern the size of the text. So that's certainly one aspect of creating content for your course, but you can also just add all sorts of other stuff. You have a table tool, you can add a table. Well, there are some accessibility issues with tables. If you don't really need a table, you probably don't want to use that, but it's there if you need it. You can embed pictures, images into your rich content editor. For instance, let me move this down and put, maybe I want a banner image up at the top of the page to brand it or whatever. I can go to my embed image tool in the second row of icons in the control bars for the rich content editor. Again, this is not that different from, say, Word or other word processors. And I can click embed image. This dialog is not the most intuitive thing in Canvas, but it's not that difficult either. In order to, let's say you have an image on your local computer, an image file that you want to put into this document that this Canvas page that you're creating. You can just click this Canvas tab here. This is what you'll do most of the time. I don't know if anybody ever uses Flickr anymore. An image repository online was real big in the 90s. It's not so much today. This is kind of a legacy thing here. But probably you've got your images on your local computer. You either created them yourself, you've downloaded them from the web. And you have to tell Canvas whether you want to store this image file in the files associated with this course, or in a file repository that you have, which is your personal file repository that's not associated with any particular course. Usually you'll just want to put this file into the files associated with this course. If you need it in another course, you can always load it into that one or copy it from this one. And when you select where you want this image file to go, which will usually be course files, you get a button lighting up here that allows you to upload this image file into this page that we're talking about. If I click that, I get a File Explorer box again, and I have to know where I've got that picture file stored. On Windows, it'll probably be in your Pictures library. There's similar places on the Mac, of course, as well. And let's see, I've got a little banner image here somewhere. The hardest part about this is finding the file that you want to upload generally. There it is. There's our Online Learning Pathways logo. I'll select that, I'll click Open. That uploads the file. There it says, success. The file's on Canvas, ready to use. There's one other thing you should do with an image before you move on to using that image and to going on to the next bit of content that you want to put in your Canvas page, and that's to add what's called alt text for that image. A blind student will access your course using a screen reader, a piece of software that reads the screen for them, reads it out audibly. That, of course, doesn't work real well for images. So each image in a Canvas course should have associated with it what's called alt text, which is just a short description of what the image depicts so that a blind student at least knows what that's about and what the purpose of that image is. This is the online learning. Take the boy out of the mountains. Mountains stay behind. Online learning pathways logo. So you just describe the image, and anything from a few words to a couple of sentences is ideal. And then once you've done that, you just click Update. There's an Update button at the bottom, and that image is uploaded to Canvas and inserted into your building Canvas page. So that's all there is to putting a still image into a Canvas page. Nothing much to it. What are some other things we can put in there? Well, we can always put links to content outside of Canvas. For instance, and that the link, we use this link to URL button. That's usually called a hyperlink button. And that chain link icon is kind of universal. This is the basic, what you're creating here again is a web page, a hypertext markup language document, or an HTML document. And one of the primary hallmarks of web pages is that they contain links to content that's not in this page, so that people can click on those links and go to somewhere else to get other content. That's called hypertext. And it's the fundamental structure of the World Wide Web. It's how the basic concept that the whole World Wide Web is built around. And these pages are no exceptions. So you can put links to content outside of Canvas in there. And in order to do that, you have to provide an anchor, so-called anchor for the link. That anchor can be text. I might want to provide access to our Online Learning Pathways website here. Maybe I don't want that quite that big. Maybe that's not. All right. That one way to do that is just to highlight that text and then click this link to URL button. Then I'm just asked for the web address, or the URL, the Uniform Resource Locator, if you're interested in what that stands for a page out on the web. For instance, our web page is www.sdccdonline.net. Or I can paste that in if I can if I can navigate to the web page, I can copy and paste that link in if it's a lot bigger and harder to type. And then I just insert that link. And now this becomes a link to our Online Learning Pathways website. If I save this as a work in progress, and you can, it's always a good idea to save your work periodically and then go back in and resume editing when you're working in the rich content editor, just like you would in any other editor. And now that's a link. If I click on that, I go to the Online Learning Pathways website eventually. There it is. All right. I can also do that sort of, if I go back to edit mode here in the rich content editor, I can also make graphics, images, the anchors for hyperlinks. I can click this, I can highlight that image by clicking on it, then I can go to link to URL, and I can type that same thing in there again. Type that a few times. And now this picture becomes a link, a hyperlink. This is basic web page stuff. And that's what we're doing here. We're creating web pages that we can share with people anywhere in the world, with our students. And if I now click, if I save that page and click on that image, I go to the same place I did before. So, oops. Shoot. I closed the wrong tab. Sorry about that. Navigate back to where we were. There's our course we're building. We were in this Canvas page, and now I can go back into the editor. Oops. Well, at least Canvas saved, at least I'd saved it before I did that. So I can create hyperlinks in Canvas pages to content outside of Canvas. I can also create links to content inside of Canvas. To do that, I use these tabs over here on the right-hand column beside the rich content editor. The links tab allows me to link to things that are inside Canvas. For instance, maybe I want to be able to put a link to my modules in here. I can type an anchor, a text anchor. I can highlight that, and I can go to course navigation over here. And I can select modules. Now that link will take, if a student clicks on the link, that's equivalent to clicking on this modules link over here in the course menu. And I could send them to just about any of those, as you see here. I can also send them to individual content modules from within a page. I can send them to discussions. I don't have any discussions yet. Quizzes, homework assignments, and other pages. I can link one Canvas page to another. So I have a fully featured little mini web that I can build inside my Canvas course. But usually most of the content that the students are going to need in this course is going to be, or in this page, is going to be embedded in this page. So what else can I put in here? Well, we've seen we can put hyperlinks and still images in. We can go and pull content right out of the Canvas Commons. We've seen that process, basically seen that process before, but if I find a document in the Canvas Commons that I like, I can drop it right into this web page. I can pull files into this page. I can go to my course files If I've already uploaded a file that I want to link to, I can pull that in, or I can upload a new file. I can choose the file. I can go find such a file. Let's see what I have here that would be useful. Let's see. Sorry, I don't need another syllabus. Well, I could put my syllabus in there if I wanted to. I can open that. And I can then upload the file. I actually just uploaded another copy of that. And there is a link to that file. I can edit that extension out and still have the link be viable. I can also, well, let's just leave it at that for the moment. And I can use images that I've already uploaded to Canvas. I've only got the one right now, but I might have a number of pictures over here, picture files that I'd uploaded previously. I can embed those right into my developing document from Canvas using this tab right here. So these tabs allow you to link to content that is already in Canvas or that can be uploaded to Canvas as part of the process. You can also, within a Canvas page, embed all sorts of rich media like video and audio right into your page. You can record a video right from the rich content editor using this little tool here that's record or upload media. And I need to pick, I can't use the same webcam I'm using in Zoom. So to demonstrate this, I have to pick another webcam. Yoo-hoo. Uh-oh. Doesn't want to work. See if I can wake that up here. Ah, come on. Let's just stop this and try starting that again. This tool can be a little twitchy. I'd still like to show it to you though. Well, it looks like it's just not going to work right now. And that can happen with this one. Try one more time. Oh well, we'll bypass that for now. It's quite simple to use. Much more commonly though, if you're going to embed video here, you're going to pull that video from a site where it's already loaded online. Common place to do that would be YouTube. And this rich content editor gives you a window right into YouTube. You don't even have to go to YouTube. You can just type, you can search YouTube for content. Let's do screencasting, since that's the nominal subject we're dealing with here. And you'll pull hundreds or thousands of videos in any content area that you might search for. Like, you can preview one of them.
Steve Dotto here. How the heck are you doing?
Jolly old elf, isn't he? And if you find something you like, you can embed it in small, medium, large size. Let's just do medium, right into your developing Canvas page. And there it is. The students can play that video right from there. You can also put your own videos in there. Of course, you can go to YouTube and go to your own YouTube studio if you have videos stored on YouTube, and go to your videos list here over on the left. And you can put, let's see, I think I have a screencasting course in here. A 2-hour presentation on screencasting. There it is. Nope, that's. I can search for that. I've got too many hundreds of videos on there. There's the last time I did that, the last Zoom recording for when I did that. I can go to the details page for that video in my YouTube studio, and then I can just copy the link for that video to my clipboard. I can come back to Canvas here, and I can use the insert. I need to put my cursor, make sure my cursor is where I want the video to appear. I can go to my insert edit media tool, which we've not looked at yet, which is the equivalent of the embed image tool for movies, for video. If I click that, I can just put, if it's a YouTube video, I can just put the link, I can paste the link for that video right into this source box here under the general tab. Click OK, and boom. Now I have an embedded copy of that Zoom session. My students can click on that and watch that 2-3 hour some odd lecture if they're really tough. Generally, instructional videos are better the shorter they are. This is just a general recording of a live session that I did. Those can be useful, but not so much as shorter, more focused videos. Indeed, I can link to videos from just about any source online that I might care to use. Say the Khan Academy. Is a famous source of instructional video in all sorts of topics. Yeah. I can, well, I don't need that. I can just search Khan Academy for videos on algebra. It started out as a math site. It started out as a guy making math videos for his nieces. And it's become one of the most famous websites in the world. Here's Algebra 1. I want that, or let's see if they might have something on screencasting. Which is, of course, screencasting, of course, is what we're doing right now. We're recording our computer screen along with voiceover. You can do this in Zoom. Doesn't look like there's much on that on the Khan Academy. Like I say, they're much bigger on math, so we'll just pick one here. this is an entire course, but what we really want is just a particular video. There's a video. I can stop it from playing. I can, this video, in fact, I can tell from the playback here is probably on YouTube itself. I can just copy the link for that video, and I can go back to Canvas. And I can go to my Insert Edit Media tool. I can just paste that link in and okay. And there it is, bingo. So putting video into your course, into a Canvas page, this is the most common way of putting video into your course, is to embed it using the, into a Canvas page using the Insert Edit Media tool. And this, of course, is a critical sort of content for any online course. Video is one of the most information-rich forms of instructional content that you'll ever find. And there's tons of it out on the web that you can use in addition to whatever you might create yourself. A neat new tool that will allow you to put video into your course that maybe you have created or you've acquired from someone one way or another is something called Canvas Studio. We definitely want to show you how to use that on a Canvas page. The Canvas Studio can be accessed from within the rich content editor by clicking on this external tools link here, the little, let me blow that up a little bit, it's a little hard to see. This V here, if I click on that, I have a number of external tools from which I can import content, including Vimeo, which is kind of an alternative site to YouTube, has lots of useful instructional video on it. 3C Media is a media repository managed by the California Community Colleges, which contains tons of video that your colleagues all over the state have shared. But the one we're interested in right this minute is Canvas Studio. This is a new video management and creation tool, which has just become available in our instance of Canvas. You have a library of videos that you can add to videos that you have created yourself, or videos that other people have donated to you, or videos on YouTube. You can pull YouTube videos in the Canvas Studio and use them. And it makes it very easy for you to then share these videos with your students through a Canvas page by just selecting the video that you want to use, like maybe this one, adding a YouTube video to your Canvas Studio. You can select the video, do a standard embed. These videos can also contain quizzes that are streamlined or streamed within the video, so that students, while they're watching the video, have to answer questions about the video. Makes it much more interactive and much more likely that the students will retain the content. But in this case, we'll just do a standard embed and click embed. And that's all there is to putting something into a Canvas page from your Canvas Studio. Couldn't get much easier than that. So putting video into Canvas into a Canvas page like this is exceptionally simple and incredibly valuable. So that kind of works. Oh, and there's also a math equation editor that you can use. It's not the best math equation editor in the world, and I'm not going to try to show it to you in any detail because it's not one of my areas of expertise. But you can embed mathematical formulae into your Canvas page using this editor by inserting all sorts of mathematical symbols and stringing them together. And then you build an equation, and then you just insert it into the Canvas page. So this is quite a full-featured editor. You can put all sorts of content into a Canvas page, and you can link to content in outside and inside Canvas from within that Canvas page. And when you're done, of course, you just save the page, maybe save and publish it so that it's immediately available to students in one option, and there it is. And that's not real well organized or real coherent, but it's quite a selection of content ranging from text to still images to links to video, all very easily added into a Canvas page. And since we started that Canvas page within the modules tool, we now have a link to it in the module. If I publish that module, a student can now come in and just click on that link, and bang, that page just comes right up. That's another advantage of using pages instead of files that you've created offline and uploaded into Canvas, because a Canvas page is a web page, and Canvas is basically a web server. So the content in a Canvas page pops up for your students a lot faster even than a Word document would, as we saw earlier. And this is a much more complex document than that little text-based syllabus that I showed you earlier in a file. So there's a lot to be said for putting your content, as much of it as is convenient, at least, into Canvas pages instead of files that you upload from your local computer. So Canvas pages can be exceptionally rich in information. Well, let's look at some other options, a couple of other options. The files and pages are will represent or will contain the bulk of your course content. You'll be adding file after file, creating page after page as you build your course. But you can also create what are called external URLs, or web links to external content. This is very similar in idea to the hyperlink or the link to URL that we used within the Canvas page, but this goes directly into the module. So the student doesn't have to go into a page and then click on a link in the page to get to something that's out on the web. You can provide them access to something outside of Canvas directly. You just need the URL, the web address for that, and you need to give it a name, which is basically just an anchor for the hyperlink in the module. Let's see, there's I can go out through Google and search for content out on the web, like maybe I want a guide for screencasting. Probably help if I spell it right. Though Google's amazingly good at guessing for you. Just press enter. Here's a useful looking web page for this topic. This is from the company that basically invented screencasting and still produces some of the best tools. And this page contains lots of useful information that people learning how to screencast might need. And I can just lift that page, and it's perfectly legal to do so. They put this page publicly on the web. There's nothing to stop you from just taking the URL, the address for this page, which you can find in the address line on your browser up here, and highlighting that and copying it to your clipboard. And then going back to your Canvas course, pasting that URL right into this URL box. Again, that's Uniform Resource Locator, if that helps remember what that means. And we give it a name, like TechSmith Guide to Screencasting. Maybe even type it right. We can choose to load it into a new tab, have a new browser window open up so that it's not constrained by the availability of the Canvas content frame, or not, as we prefer. And add the item. And it's not much to look at now, but if the student clicks on that link, they go right to that web page. Yeah. Accept cookies. And there's the web page. The dimensions are a little constrained, but it works because it's a well-designed web page. And then, of course, I can go back to my modules. I can also use this tool to link to video. For instance, if I make an external URL link, I can go to maybe I've got some Zoom recordings. This is something you really might want to do. If you've done some Zoom lectures with your students, you want to take those and you've recorded them, and you want to link those recordings into your Canvas course, you can do that very easily. You can go to find those recordings, you can web to zoom.us, which is the Zoom corporate website, and you can sign in with the credentials that are provided to you by Confer Zoom, by the people who provide us with these Zoom accounts that we're using. You just log in with your email address and your password that you are associated with your Confer Zoom account and sign in. You then get to your Zoom account management screens, and there is a link over here on the left to your recordings. Any recordings that you've sent to the Zoom cloud will be listed here by date, so you can tell which one is which. And I can pick one of those, and I can get a shareable link for that video. We can check and see what the video looks like. It's a recording of a Zoom session I did. And up it goes. We're now recording. And welcome to today's seminar. All right, fine. I can then get this shareable link by just clicking that button that copies it to my clipboard. Then I can go back to Canvas, paste that link in here, give the page a name, I didn't stay in that long enough to see what the subject matter of that was, so I'll just call that. One thing that's pretty critical if you're linking to a video through an external link, rather than embedding the video into a Canvas page like we just saw how to do, if you're just putting a link directly into a module, which is a perfectly good option, it's generally important to load that video in a new tab. And indeed, in this case, with Zoom recordings stored in the Zoom cloud, it's critical that you load it in a new tab or it won't play. So that's a trick that you'll need. And then I can add the item, and there's a link for my students to use. If I publish these links, my students can come in and they can click where it says Zoom lecture recording, they'll be asked to open a new window. That's fine, they can figure that out. And there's the Zoom recording, and they can just play it. And it's in a new tab, so they can just get back to where they were very quickly and back to their modules without having to worry a whole lot about navigating around. So that's another thing you can use this external URL tool for. So those are the three primary types of content links that you're going to be putting into your modules in Canvas. They're going to be file links, files that you've uploaded to Canvas and linked to. They're going to be Canvas pages that you've created within Canvas, and they're going to be external URL links to content outside of Canvas. There is one further type of content link that you might put into a module that we didn't used to spend much time on because we didn't really have a lot of application for it. But you can also insert what are called external tool links. If I click on external tool here, I'm given a list of external tools that we have access to. And many of these will not be germane to you, but you'll notice that you see things like Publisher's website here, McGraw-Hill Connect, Pearson, My Whatever Lab, and so on are all here. But the one I'm looking for, and even Zoom, the one I'm looking for here is new for us. It's this one right here, that same Canvas Studio library that we talked about a minute ago. I can link content from my Canvas Studio library right into this. Here's a little screen recording I did, a sample screencast I did in my introduction to Canvas Studio yesterday. If I want to put that into my Canvas course as a link, I just click select, again, a standard embed, and embed it. This time I embed it, and then by adding item, I embed it into a module instead of into a Canvas page. Link doesn't look as sexy, but the student doesn't have to click on a page, click on a link to a page and go in and find the video in the page. They'll be able to use or watch that video if I publish it just by clicking right on the link to it, and bada boom, up comes the Canvas Studio video. And they can play it. Logging into Canvas. To get to Canvas at the San Diego Community, and then they can go back to their modules using the breadcrumb navigation up here, if nothing else. So those are the four types of content that you are going to be adding into your Canvas courses. Files that you create offline and upload to Canvas and link into your modules. Canvas page, and note that the files are identified in a module by this little paperclip icon. That tells you it's an attached file. This is the icon for a page. This looks like a little document. This is a Canvas page that was created in Canvas using the rich content editor. These are external links, either external URL links or links to external tools that are placed into a Canvas module. So the little icons here tell you what type of content that is. The nuts and bolts of the process are thus pretty simple. The hard part, of course, is deciding what content to use and designing it and putting it in the right modules in the right order, all that. And that's, of course, something that you as the subject matter expert are far more qualified to do than any instructional designer who doesn't know your subject matter. We're always happy to help when you have questions, but the selection of content and the creation of the content, if you can't find something to use that's already created that meets your needs, is, of course, the real hard part of creating creating a course in any delivery mode, face-to-face in a classroom or online asynchronous like this. But Canvas allows you to provide this content to your students 24/7, so they can view it anytime they want to. And they can't lose it. They can view it as often as they like, as many times as they like, and it's always available to them. So a Canvas course like this is an integral part of any online course. In too many online courses, particularly in the past, this was it. This was everything there was to an online course. And that works, but we're seeing, I think that, you know, it's an ill wind indeed that blows no one good. And I think we're seeing this highly stressful and unusual situation we find ourselves in actually improving, certainly online education, and I think education in general, by encouraging the use of a variety of tools, no matter how you meet your students, whether you meet them on Zoom or you meet them face-to-face in a classroom. All of these tools that we're having to use now to put these classes online are valuable in any delivery method. And in online courses in particular, this asynchronous content delivery that we do in Canvas is critical, but so is synchronous content delivery, like we're doing right now in this Zoom seminar. And our online courses did not used to, many of our online courses did not used to contain a lot of that synchronous experience for no particular reason. It was all, the tools were always available. It just wasn't the culture, if you will, of online education. And that's changing as people had to suddenly transition to teaching remotely in the middle of spring semester. I mean, the easiest thing to do was to just move your lectures right into Zoom and lecture to your students as you had been doing. And it works wonderfully, and it's very effective. And if you couple that with a learning management system like Canvas, where you can put links to the Zoom recordings that you've made, where you can put all sorts of other content that you can refer your students to during your Zoom sessions, and then links, as we'll see in another session, to assessments, quizzes, homework assignments, graded discussions, and so on. You just create a much richer course infrastructure in your online course than we ever had before. So I think moving forward, not only will our online courses be a lot better than they ever were before, but our face-to-face courses in the happy future, when we can actually get back into the classroom, will benefit from all this technology we've had to learn in order to move that instruction online. There's no reason you can't continue to use these technologies with a traditional face-to-face course, and it will be a much richer experience for your students than they ever had before. Indeed, all sorts of studies have shown that purely online courses or purely face-to-face courses are not the best courses. The best courses are blended courses that use every tool in the toolbox, technological and otherwise, to provide instruction to students. And these blended courses that contain both face-to-face and online elements, both synchronous and asynchronous elements, are the very best courses there are, the gold standard for education. And I think and hope that as we move out of this crisis, we will eventually get out of this mess, that education will have benefited immensely from it, particularly higher education. So knowing how to use Canvas is going to be a good thing to have from now on, because you'll always have access to it here at the district. And it can be used even when you're delivering your primary information delivery is synchronous in the classroom. Canvas is still an exceptionally valuable tool that will allow you to provide information to your students asynchronously online whenever they need it. That pretty much covers a little bit about the modules tool in Canvas. I mentioned it briefly, but let me make sure you know that it's very easy to organize content within a module. You can use these movement tools here, these little double rows of dots, to click and drag content, so you can move content within the modules around very easily if you decide that the order is not quite what you want. You can even move modules around that way. So reordering content in Canvas is marvelously easy and reliable. You had this sort of capability in Blackboard, but it was kind of creaky and cranky. Not so here. And by default, in a new course, the home screen or course entry point for a course are the course modules. And that's great. I mean, and as far as it works, well, this is the heart of the course. This is where the students are going to go to actually access your content. And this is where the content is laid out for them in an organized fashion so they can see how to proceed through the course. But this modules display just not the sexiest thing in the world. It's not real salubrious. Not very pretty. So there is an alternative to having this as your course entry point, the first thing your students see as they enter the course. If you wish, you could create a course homepage or opening page that will be the first thing your students see. You can do that using the Pages tool that we looked at before. You can go to Pages in your course menu, and you can create a page. And that serves as the opening first things your students see. To create the page, we've seen how the rich content editor works. I'm just going to call this welcome. And I can make this welcome page in the same way we made that content page earlier. I can embed images. Indeed, since I've already uploaded that image, I'm going to have to make this a little smaller to bring that in. Since I've already uploaded that banner image, I can just use that again. Drop that right in. It's nice to have stuff already loaded in. And I can maybe type the title of the course. And I can center it and make it bigger. I can bold it. I can maybe put in a little welcome video that I've made. If I go to my YouTube studio, search for Screencasting again. Let's see, show all of them. Here's a little welcome video I made for this course some years ago when I had a lot less hair. I can select that video. I can get the link to it. On my clipboard, I can go back to Canvas. I can use my Insert Edit Media tool. I can paste that link into the source box here. Okay, that. And I can maybe put in a link to my course modules. I don't want this to be a cul-de-sac where the students have to go and click on the something in the course menu over here to get out of it. So I could put a link to course modules. Just type that link, that anchor for that link, and then highlight the anchor text and go to the links tab here, since that's something. These are links to stuff inside Canvas. This is links to stuff outside Canvas. I might have both on this opening page, but I'm just doing a very Spartan opening page here quickly. So I'll put this, I'll link this to my modules tool. And that's, you know, I could go ahead, I could put my learning objectives here. I could put my biography here. I can provide any sort of information, the type of information I might talk to the students about on the first day of class, but let's just keep this within our 2 hours here by not getting too wild with this. But we've seen that you can just put anything you like in a Canvas page. Text, graphics, video, all that stuff. And then I can save and publish this page, probably. I want my students to be able to see it. Okay, so there's a page. Oops. I don't like that. Let's center this puppy. All right, centered that. And save it again. Okay. Not the greatest opening page in the world, but we get the idea. Now, the next thing I need to know is how do I make that the first thing the students see? And that's not the most intuitive process in Canvas that there is. It took me about 45 minutes first time I did this, worked my way through this. I got to exercise my vocabulary while doing it. I'll try to be more decorous today. First thing I have to do, if I want to make this the first thing that my students see, is I have to go to my Pages tool and view all of my pages that I've created, this list of pages. There's only 2 in here right now. But as you build your course, you'll get dozens of pages probably. And here's that welcome page I just created. To make that the first thing the students see when they enter the course, the first thing I have to do is go out this detail line here to this little context menu icon out to the right here. It is I think you can see that. As always, if anything you can't see, please let me know. If I talk about something you can't see, let me know right away. That icon right there is a menu. That's a standard menu icon in Chrome and other things. And there's an option to use this as the front page. So I select that. I get a little label pops up there that reminds me this is going to be the front page of the course, or the home page if you prefer. And I get all excited and I say, oh, great. So now if I click home, I'm going to see the home page. No. This is the part where I got to exercise my vocabulary. So I go to Google and what what's going on? And it reminds me that on the home page, they're in this task menu over here that I hadn't really looked at. There's another link that says choose home page, to which I said, I blankety blank thought I'd already done that. Well, all right, so no. This should really say choose entry point, because it's not necessarily a page. It's one of 5 options that Canvas has for the course entry point, the first thing the student sees, or you see when you enter the course. You click that and you get a list of possibilities. And the default option, which is selected in any new Canvas shell, is the course modules tool, which is a good default to have because that works. If the students get dumped into the course modules, they can start working immediately. Everything's fine. But if you want it to be a little more interesting, you can also use the course activity stream, which is kind of a stream of consciousness stream of everything that's going on in the course. Or you can take them right to the assignments list, which seems to me to be a singularly bad idea. Okay, here's what you're going to get graded on. Work on this right now, and don't bother looking at any of the content that I've given you to help you understand this or learn about this course. Just see if you can do the assessments right away. That's a great message. Or you can take them to the syllabus tool in Canvas, which is not the same thing as that syllabus file that I uploaded. I don't even teach that tool. I don't think much of it. But the other option, of course, is the page, the Canvas page that you have created or that you have designated as the front page. So if I now select that instead of course modules and click Save, now when the student enters the course, or if they click on Home, they go to that page. And when they're ready, after they've watched the little video here and so on, they can click on Course Modules, and now they'll be right where they were before, and they can proceed to actually take the course, actually consume the content you've given to them, take the assessments, communicate with you and with each other, and just generally participate in a college course. So that's how you get a home page or an opening page in your course. And most people will create an opening page. But remember to provide some sort of outlet for the students. I might have better labeled this Start Here. Click on this when you're done. Subtlety will get you nowhere in Canvas. Okay, let me think. Is there anything else I really need to show you about content creation right now? No, with what you've seen here, you can pretty much put all of the course content that your students need right into your modules and create your course. There's a lot of thought involved, and I don't mean to minimize that. There's a lot of thought involved, a lot of creation of content or selection of content that you've already created or that you can get somewhere on the web. But these are the basic, we've gone over the basic nuts and bolts tools that you need to get that content into Canvas and share it with your students. The next thing you want to be able to do, of course, is assess your students, to test them, to assign homework, and assign class discussions and so on. And that's what we'll be doing in the session on assessments in Canvas, which next week. So I hope I'll see you then for that. But at this point, uncharacteristically, that's pretty much everything I wanted to do. And I'm going to open up the floor for questions about content creation in Canvas, and ultimately about anything else you might want to ask. Remember, you are muted, most of you, but you can unmute yourselves at any time. Please feel free to do that. The first thing I'm going to do, though, is go to the chat tool. I see I have a number of questions in there. Let's see. All right, I have a conversation class. Sounds cool. In which I only use Zoom. Is my only choice for sharing content in Zoom to add each and every meeting to Canvas, I assume you mean, rather than save them somewhere? Well, Canvas is certainly a wonderful way to share those Zoom recordings with your students. You can also use Canvas to provide the students with a schedule of those meetings so they know where to be when. And Zoom is a wonderful means of distributing or broadcasting course content, but it really doesn't have any sort of assessment tools available in it. So if you're going to test your students and evaluate their progress, you're going to need Canvas for that at the very least. Also, Canvas is an ideal way to share those Zoom recordings with your students. And yeah, you can, you'll need to add those in one at a time, either as external links, external URLs in your Canvas modules, or embed them into a Canvas page is prettier. Actually, with Zoom recordings that are stored in the Zoom cloud, you can't embed them into a Canvas page. You just have to put links to them, hyperlinks to them, like we saw. But certainly that's the best way to share those recordings with your students, because this Canvas shell is available anyway, and they will have access to it automatically. I hope I answered that question. Is there any kind of follow-on to that? Always open to that sort of thing. Another good question. How do you lock the first module? Okay, indeed, you can control when students can see your modules. The easiest way, or the most straightforward way to do that, is to just unpublish a module. If you don't want your students to see a module, you can just unpublish it by clicking on this publish link here. And then you can publish it again when you're ready. That, of course, requires you to remember to do that, which is a challenge for me these days. You can also, however, lock your module. If I go to the title bar of the module and click the context menu for the module here and select Edit, I can lock the module until a certain date and time. So I can prevent the students from seeing that module until I'm ready for them to do so, without me having to remember to do it on that morning. So that's easy enough. I can also control, and I don't want to get into too much detail on this, but I can also add what are called prerequisites and requirements that the students have to fulfill before they can see the module. A prerequisite might be finishing the previous module. Requirement can be things like students have to complete these requirements. They must move through them in sequential order, and these are the requirements they must complete before getting access to the module. So you can control access to these modules automatically. It's a little bit of a complex process. The locking is not complex, but the requirements and the prerequisites are a little complex in Canvas. But that's how, if you've taken have taken or are taking the Online Faculty Certification Program, which is a Canvas class, of course. You'll know, you will have noticed that you can't access the next module until you complete the one before. That's a pedagogical decision on the part of the course designers. It's one that is not universally adhered to or enamored. Not everyone is enamored of. Some people like to dole their content out in little pieces to keep the students focused on a particular part of the course. Other people prefer to just throw the content all out there and let the students work through it in the way that works best for them. And it's about a 50-50 split among online instructors generally. And it's almost more of a personality thing for the instructor than anything else. How much control you like to have over things in your life and so on. I'm more of a laissez-faire sort myself. I like to just throw the content out and let the students see it all at one time. And because they can hop back and forth easily, and they see something I think will help them now, and it's not going to show up until a later module, they can go and look at it and so on. But that's, again, more an educational philosophy than anything everything else. But you do have tools that will allow, in the modules tool, that will allow you to restrict access to modules until you feel it's appropriate, or until students have jumped through a certain set of hoops that you set up for them.
Thank you, Dave.
Did that answer the question?
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you.
Oh, but there's more to that question.
A little bit.
Can we transfer a shell to or from another district? Sure. You can take your course once you've completed it, go to the settings link in the course, and go to this task menu on the right, and you can export your course content. You can export either your entire course or just the quizzes, or a quiz here. Usually it's the entire course. So you just create the export, and it takes a few minutes. There's almost nothing in here, so that happened almost instantly. It takes longer than that for a real course. And then you can download this export by clicking on this link here. It's a so-called Imscc file. It's a special type of compressed file that contains your entire course material. Doesn't contain, if there's students in the course, it doesn't contain your enrollments or any submissions from the students. It's just your course content. You can save this in an appropriate place. Yeah, sure. And then you go to, you can share that file with another instructor, or you can, if it's for you, you can keep it. And then you can go to another Canvas system, like say you teach at Grossmont and here, and you want to move a course from one to the other. You just go to the other system where you want to move that course to, you go to settings. You do have to have a course shell into which to import this content. So assuming now you're in the shell at Grossmont that you want to put this content into, you just go to settings and you import course content into the blank shell at that other institution. You select Canvas course export package as the import. You choose the file that you have downloaded. I just pick one of these export files here. Open it. You can either import all of the content or some of the content, selected content, and just click import. And the process takes a little while, and then eventually you'll find all this content in your shell at the other institution. So basically the process is export the shell from the institution where it's currently located, download the export file, and then import that export file into the institution where you want to transfer the course to. And that doesn't take long, as you can see.
Oh, Dave?
Yes.
Yeah, so I just as a follow-up to that, what you were doing. So all because I had the same question about taking a whole course from one institution and taking it to another. So is that all done in settings?
Yes.
Okay.
It's done in settings. You first export the course from the institution where it's currently located, download that file, and then import it. You log into the other Canvas system and import it into there.
I saw something when you were doing the demo, it says something that you can't do it after 30 days.
That particular export is only kept for 30 days. So if you wait longer than that, you have to go in and export it again. The theory being that after 30 days, it probably won't be any good anymore. You will have changed it enough in the course that maybe.
Oh, okay. So I guess I misinterpreted because I thought that meant like like whenever it was created, it needed to be exported before the 30 days
No,
since it was
no.
created. Okay.
No, you just have to export it again. That export file will only stay on Canvas for 30 days. But if you download it, you have it indefinitely. You can use it anytime you want it.
Okay. Thank you.
Canvas is just trying to prevent their servers from filling up with tons of exports that nobody needs anymore. So they wipe them out every 30 days or so. And you have to download them before that or recreate them. As you see, it's a simple process to recreate them. Oops, another thing from the same question from, I don't have access to Zoom. Cindy's still here? Yeah, Cindy, I'm not sure exactly what you're getting at there. Can you
Hi.
give me some more
Yeah.
information on that? Hey.
Sure. Hi, David. I made a mistake. What I meant was I have a class where I only use Zoom, and I
Right.
don't have access to Canvas for that class. And what I'm
Uh-oh.
wondering is, yeah, well, it's a different district, and they don't have any platform for us to use. It's a private school.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and so I only use Zoom for the conversation class. But can I say, I mean, can I save anything in Zoom or quiz in Zoom or, I mean,
no, not really.
I know I can add videos and things like that for that class, but what about the next class, you know?
Yeah. Indeed, you really, to do a class online, you really need both the synchronous option, the Zoom, and a place to put resources for your students. And you know that obviously this Canvas system is intended to be used just for classes that are offered through the San Diego Community College District. But as a marketing tool, Canvas provides a free Canvas system, which can be accessed at canvas.instructure. I can spell instructure. It's a made-up word. .com, the name of the company. And you can get a free account. Let me log out here so you can see what the login page looks like. It says need a Canvas account. If you don't have one, you just click right there and create a free Canvas account for yourself.
Oh, awesome.
Then you set up your account, you log in, and you can create your own courses. There's no automatic, nothing's automatic here. You have to do everything manually, but you can create your own courses. This is a course that my wife was using just a few minutes before I started this session today to help homeschool our granddaughter in London.
Wow, awesome.
She's online with her in Zoom, and yet she puts this content in Canvas to use during those Zoom sessions. It's a convenient place to store it. And then our granddaughter can access this content again anytime she wants to. You can put people into the course just by adding them to it. And you just put each of their email addresses in. Decide whether you want to be a student, a teacher, a TA, or whatever. Use a student in this case. You just use an email address and you send them an invitation, and that prompts them to log in, gives them the opportunity to go into Canvas, create their own account, and get into your course. So they can handle that for themselves. You just have to send the invitations. You can even separate email address. You can do multiple email addresses at a time, just separating them with commas.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get your students into your course, and you can use this to your heart. So that instructor wants you to do that because they want you to be so enamored of Canvas that if you go somewhere else and you work for somebody else, you can say, why don't we have Canvas? We need Canvas. So it's a great marketing tool for them. They're perfectly happy to see you use this to teach a class.
And so I'm not limited in any way. I can use the free Canvas similarly to my district's Canvas.
Exactly. It's the same system.
Awesome.
There may be a few tools, like you won't have access to Canvas Studio, for instance, and things like that. There are some nice bells and whistles that the district is paid for that you won't have here, but by and large, the basic capabilities of the systems are the same.
Okay, thank you. You just made my day. Thank you, Dave.
The day has not been a waste for me then. Thank you. That's great. Okay.
I have a quick question, Dave, if possible.
Please. Absolutely.
Yes, hi. So good to see you. Thank you so much
good
for
to see you.
these sessions. They are amazing, amazing. Just gems all over. Can
Oh, you're
you
so sweet.
type, thank you. Can you type one more time how to create a Canvas account outside of the college district? I just
sure. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Let's see, where did I put that? I think I can.
Yeah.
Let's see, there we go.
So
the address is canvas dot instructure, INSTRUCTURE .com.
.com. Okay. I'm gonna do it right now.
And the login page looks like this. And here's the link right here. Click here, it's free. It really is.
That's
and
amazing.
you have almost everything that you'd have in the Canvas system of the district, but you can use it for other things that outside the district, like we're using. It's a great homeschooling tool.
So so I just generate a new account for me. That's it,
Right.
you know.
It's completely separate from. It's a completely separate system from ours. So you just basically you're going to give them an email address, which can be any email address you want to use, and create a password.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Thank you so much, Dave.
It's an incredible tool. And it's incredible that they give it to you for free, but it works out for them. This is one of the marketing tools they use to sell it to the entire California community college system.
Wow.
The largest single educational organization in the world.
Wow.
What we're a part
we are
of.
The best.
And so that paid for a lot of years of this all by itself for them. So that's great.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Oh, my pleasure. Okay, here's a good question. How do you deal with advertisements that pop up when you have links to a variety of URLs? Well, sometimes you just have to swallow them. That's one of the downsides of just a second. I'm getting a little feedback here. See if I can. Okay, that helped. That's one of the downsides of using free online content. There are sometimes things that you can do to. Let's see, Pauline. It seems like you have another device running in the same room or something. It's producing a lot of feedback here.
No, I don't have it.
And I can't seem to mute it.
Okay, you got it?
It won't let me mute that.
You want me to mute mine?
Yeah.
Can you try that, please?
Yeah, let me check.
It's working now.
Okay. Okay. Oh, good. That's taken care of it. Thank you so much, Pauline. All right. Let's see, where was I? Yeah, advertisements. Sometimes you just have to live with them. But one of the most irritating sources of advertisements is YouTube, if you use YouTube. And that's something you can minimize. When you, let's see, let me get back to our Canvas system here. I'll go to our page, one of our pages here. Oops, whose course am I in? Oh, I imported that content, didn't I? Oops. Let me make another page here. We'll just call this sample page. If you're going to use YouTube videos in Canvas, by far the best way is to embed them using the Insert Edit Media tool. If I go to YouTube and pull up a video, I get not only the video, but I get all the YouTube advertisements, suggested videos, ads at the top of the page, icon usually that shows allows you to, and this is distracting. You don't really need that. So rather than sending your students directly to YouTube by just using a link, like an external URL link to a YouTube video, you're generally better off embedding it in the Canvas course by just getting the share URL for the video on your clipboard, going back to Canvas, pasting that into the source box under the General tab in the Insert Edit Media tool, this little tool right here. Okay, now when the students play the video, all they see is the video. They don't see all that other do-jazz on the side. However, it's still not perfect, because if I play this video a little bit, so I can't really magnify that too well, YouTube pops up these suggested videos. And what Helsinki has to do with my screencasting and online course video, I don't know. So this is just advertising. This is just ways of getting people to click on things in YouTube. And Google gets paid a certain amount every time somebody does that. So it increases what they can charge for their advertising and all that. So that's kind of irritating. Also, if I get to the end of this YouTube video that I've embedded here, and if this is not your course, if you're a student in the course, you're going to put it in my files. At the end of the video, these suggested videos pop up right inside your embed in Canvas. So that's kind of irritating. You can get rid of that too. But it requires embedding the video in a slightly different way. And I'll show you how to do that. I'll leave this embed there. There's another thing you can use, another way to embed video using the Insert Edit Media tool. And it involves using the Embed tab in this tool instead of the General tab, which is the simplest way to go. And another good thing about doing it this way is that this will work for sites other than YouTube as well. If you can get an embed code from another site, it'll work here. To explain what I mean, I'll go back to YouTube. And here on this page, I just get the basic link to that video.
And today we're going to talk about Iraq. No, you purportedly smart globe. We're going to talk about Mesopotamia.
Okay, we've got that muted. I don't want to have to lock everybody down. I can then pull this video up on YouTube, and instead of just using the share, I can go to the share button on the video page here in YouTube. Anybody, you can access this for anybody's video on YouTube, not just yours. And here's that basic link, but I can also get the embed code for this video, so-called, by clicking on this little icon there. And this is the so-called embed code. It's a chunk of hypertext markup language, HTML code, that you don't have to know anything about. You just need to copy it to your clipboard. And you can then go back to Canvas, and you can paste that right into this box under the Embed tab in the Insert Edit Media tool. And you don't have to know anything about how that works. And you can just say, okay, and the video will be embedded, and it'll look very much like what you got embedding it the other way a minute ago. But since you have this embed code here, you can edit it. And if you're very careful, you can edit it without destroying it in such a way that you can prevent those suggested videos from popping up. You do have to look at the embed code, but you just have to look for the actual URL, the address of the video, which you can see right here. That's pretty easy to identify. It's that code in between those two. Let me blow this up a little more. In between those two quotation marks there, right after the tag source, src equal. So there's the actual link for the video. And right at the end of that link, inside the trailing quotation mark, you can type question mark, REL, lowercase, an equal sign, and a 0. And this is a bit of HTML syntax that disables those suggested videos. If you click, and again, that's question mark, REL equal 0, not an O, a 0. There's a difference, obviously. And you insert that right at the end of the URL and OK that. And now I've got two embeds of the same video here. If I play this video, you can put it in either pause it. Of course, it just pauses. I don't see suggested videos. And if I go to the end of it, it just pops back to the beginning. I don't see any suggested videos. So that's a trick you can use in Canvas to prevent those suggested videos from displaying in YouTube. There is unfortunately a third type of YouTube spam that you can't prevent. And that's the little, some people who put videos on YouTube sell basically commercials to advertisers, just like TV studios or TV networks do. And they allow the advertiser provides them with an ad that they put at the beginning of the video that you have to watch a certain amount of before you can watch the video itself. And you can't disable that, or I know of no way to disable those. So that's irritating, but that's only going to happen in YouTube videos that are posted by individuals who are monetizing their accounts. Most YouTube videos don't have those ads up front, but you can't, the ads up front you can't get rid of. But the suggested videos and all the other stuff that is distracting on the YouTube homepage itself, you can get rid of by embedding the video into a Canvas page and using the embed code and then typing that question mark REL equals 0 at the end of the URL. I do have a tutorial, if that gets a little vague or you're not real sure about what I was talking about there. I do have a tutorial for that on our open on-demand tutorial site at the district. Here's the URL for that, sdccdolvid.org. And you can go to that site and type suggested videos. Is the easiest way to find it. And search for that. And this tutorial basically shows you what I just showed you live. How to insert that little snippet of code that prevents YouTube suggested videos from popping up in your Canvas embed of that video. It still works. I expect YouTube will close that loophole someday because it's not in their interest. It's in their interest for your students to see that. But when they do that, I'd like to point out that we don't have to use YouTube anymore. You can use Canvas Studio in lieu of YouTube. You can put your videos on Canvas Studio where you have complete control over them with no advertising and no interference from any outside entity. We will be next week, on Tuesday, I think it is, we'll be doing another session on an introduction to Canvas Studio. And that's a tool that you all have available to you. You can start playing with it right now. And it's a marvelous new tool. It's not only a place to host your video like YouTube is, but it also gives you tools to create videos. So it's a great new resource that we have.
Dave, do you have a recording for that?
I do. I made one yesterday. I'm just waiting for it to be captioned before I post it. It's on YouTube already. And as soon as the captions come through, I will be posting it on this site. At the top of the page, there's a button labeled Workshop Archives. If you go there, all of our Zoom recordings of these sessions are there. There's a little lag in getting them up there because we have to put them on YouTube and we have to wait for them to finish captioning. Funny, YouTube takes a little while to caption a 4-hour video. Or actually, the one yesterday ran almost 5 hours with all the questions.
Wow.
You don't have to go through all of that. But I'll have those up here and you'll be able to watch that. And I need to get that. I'll put that one up, the very next one, as soon as the captions appear.
Hey.
Okay.
Dave,
Yes.
Dave, could you repeat again what the code was that you're embedding? I think you said question mark.
Right.
Could you just repeat it? Thank you.
I sure will. I'll put it in the chat tool, as a matter of fact. It's question mark, lowercase R-E-L, an equal sign, and a 0, not an O, a 0. Embed code to block suggested videos in YouTube. Okay, that's in the chat tool too. So
Thank you so much. That's fantastic.
My pleasure. Let's see. We answered that. How do you get one of those pictures on the cover of the shell? Ardith, you want to give me a little more information on that?
Yeah, you know, at the front of the shell, you can change the color, but you can't put a picture.
I'm not sure. Let me mute again. Ardith, you'll have to unmute yourself.
I did unmute myself.
Go ahead. Now try.
Okay. On the outside of the canvas shells is just a color, and it only lets you change the color, but I see other people have shelves with pictures when I go to comment.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. On the dashboard?
Yeah, on the dashboard, there's no
Ah,
picture.
right. Like,
Yeah, it's like that.
where am I?
And if you,
Oh, yeah, like this.
yeah, or they don't have anything.
How do you get that into your shell? Okay, you go into your shell. You don't do it from the dashboard. You do it from inside the course. So you go into the course. Let me make that a little smaller so you can see. And go to the settings link. We spend a lot of time there.
All right.
And go to the course details tab.
Oh.
And right at the top of the course details list is an option to choose an image.
Okay.
For the tile in the dashboard, you just click choose image. You upload, select upload image. You go to your pictures and you find a picture that makes sense. Let me see. Yes, screencasting. Let's see. Surely I have something on screencasting here. Snip, smartphone, smarter measure. Screencast. There's a little screencasting image. Kind of like a logo or something. I can open that.
Okay.
And now so if I go back to my dashboard now,
Oh yeah, okay.
got it?
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure. Christine, you're one of development shell. Christine, can you send me an email? Because I may not go back and look at this right away. So if you'll send me an email, I'll do that for you. Just let me know what course you need it for. And my email address, I'll put in the chat tool, dgiberso@sdccd.edu. No N on the end. All right. Will I be showing how to use Google Apps? We've talked all about, or I've talked all about offering a seminar on how to use Google Apps with Canvas. Unfortunately, I've been encouraged not to do that because the district doesn't support Google Apps and so on. So I'm kind of in a bind on that one. Sorry. I'd love to, and I'm always happy. Tell you what, we do periodically, question and answer sessions where the whole session, the whole Zoom meeting is just questions that you get to ask. And I can cover anything during that. So if you want to attend the next one of those and ask some questions about using Google Apps in Canvas, I'll be happy to do a little ad hoc presentation on that, if that would.
So Dave, I was the one that asked. So
yes,
hi, I'm Lydia. So is it best not to use that little? I know it's in the drop down menu of that little.
No, it's certainly not. You have every right to use your Google Apps with Canvas. They work fine.
Okay. So we could use that little. We can use it through there.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'd love to show some more things about that and so on. So
okay.
If you want to come to one of those Q&A sessions, and we'll just set aside some time to do that.
Okay, great. Thanks.
May I interject?
Pamela.
Just to tell this woman, the Emeritus program, SDCE Emeritus, has a whole Google Sites, all kinds of videos, tutorials. They've adopted it. So Google Sites.
That's Google Sites, which is one of the Google apps.
Right. Right.
But Google Sites is not especially useful in Canvas.
No.
But there are lots of Google apps that are.
Okay. Like I just wanted to mention it.
And, yeah.
She's got lots of tutorials up.
Oh, okay. I wanted to use it, for example, to link a Google Doc or a Google
Yes,
form.
exactly.
That's how I was going to use.
I understand, and I think it's wonderful, and I'll be happy to. If you want to come and ask those questions in one of our general question and answer sessions, there's nothing stopping me from answering those questions.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, thank you.
Hello, Dave.
Yes.
Thank you very much for all the information you provided.
You're certainly
I really
welcome.
enjoy it.
I tell you what, if you'll hold just a second, somebody's started mowing their lawn right outside my window. I'm going to close that so you'll be able to hear me. Just a second. It's a nice day up here today. I had the windows open, but there's that that risk.
So it looks like you're enjoying Idaho.
Very, very much.
Good. That's probably one of my retirement where.
Oh, there are a lot of people coming up here from California.
Okay.
Let me tell you, we've had 6 houses sell in our little town here of about 200 people over the last month or two, and almost all of them were people coming from California.
I'll get back
Just
to you
as
and
we
ask
did a few
questions
years
later.
ago.
For my question is, when I go to my say home page,
yes,
to my home page, I can see ONE+ module on top and also module on the left side column. Which one do you think I should start making modules?
When you go into your blank shell,
yeah, I can see ONE+
well,
module.
You'd be doing the same thing either way. Let me pull up let me see
Either
if
way?
I can. Yeah, let me see if I can get a course here that I can make blank that I don't need anymore. I definitely don't want to pick the wrong one and do that to it. This, by the way, is something you can do if you get partway through working on a course and you decide it's just so foobar that you just want to start over again. You can go to the settings link in the course. You can reset course content.
Okay.
Be very careful with this. Make sure you're in the right course.
Okay.
You reset course content, big red button, warning, warning. Now that's a blank shell. You don't want to do that to the wrong shell. But here, I think you're asking, when you get this blank shell, you can either start here or there's a modules link over here.
So either one should work.
Either one is fine. This just creates your first module and then takes you to the same place that this link will. Or you can just click on that link and click here or here to add your first module. So it doesn't matter which one you start.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Good question. Let's see. Can I delete all those extraneous shells that mean nothing to me? I presume you mean on the dashboard. You can't delete shells. No. And we would never delete a shell that had students in it. But if you have like some development shells that you're not using anymore.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about my menu. Remember last time that you said that just give you my course number so you can.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I have to do those for you. I'm sorry. And you did send me that. I'm sorry I haven't done that yet. But those course menu items I can delete for you. But you can't delete anything from your course menu.
That's too, because
you can hide things from your course menu, but you can't delete them.
Yeah, that's why I set up the new one already.
Okay. Yes, you did.
And secondly,
yes.
I would like you to, because my page, I want to make it a home page, like but I couldn't make it. So can you come in and put it in the home page for me? What the page?
Yeah, if you tell me if you've already put that in the email, I can do that for you. If you want to send me another email, if you'll tell me which page you want to be your course entry point, I can help you with that.
Yeah, I gave you my course number there.
Oh, you right, but I would need to know which page to use.
Oh,
that you had created.
I created the coming page. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. If you've already created it, and of course the process is what I just went through a few minutes ago in this session. So that'll be in this recording, and I think I have a tutorial on that. No, that wasn't it. I'm not sure I do. Oh yeah, I do. Setting a course homepage in Canvas. Let me put that link in the chat tool as well. Okay. Let me see here.
Yeah, yesterday.
Sorry, just reading a question here.
Yeah, that's the link to.
Okay. I need to know how to transfer. Pauline, would you mind muting yourself again, please? Thank you. Thank you very much. I need to know how to transfer a quiz from one course into another. When I did this, I got a link, not the complete quiz. The general way to do that would be, with anything, would be to go to the course where you want the new quiz to appear, the one where the quiz is not available, and go to the settings menu and go to import course content and go to copy a Canvas course. Then you need to tell Canvas where the quiz is located currently. Let's see. I think there's a quiz in there. We'll see. Then select under content, select specific content. You only want that one quiz. You can then click the import button. You get a job started with a button that says select content. You can then go to the quizzes group and pick one of those quizzes or more. You can do multiples if you like. And then click select content, and that will bring the quiz over fairly quickly into this shell. If I now go to quizzes in this shell, there it is, Chemistry Quiz 1. I just imported that, and that's an actual quiz. It's not just a link. It's a complete quiz. So that's how you can copy a single quiz from one course to another. Or you could copy any, it's not just quizzes you can copy that way. You can copy modules, you can copy homework assignments, discussion forums, just about anything from one course to another that way. It's always worth going through again.
All right, just I got a link instead of the quiz.
You saw how it worked there.
Right.
And
I might have missed that some step there.
yeah, it's a process, and missing a step can cause unanticipated results. So give that a try again and let me know if you have any more trouble with it.
All right, thank you.
You bet. Can a module be organized with tabs? No, unfortunately. The closest thing you have to that in a module is the ability to insert what are called text headers, which are just bits of text that can specify, you know, information about what follows. So if I type something like assessment section, add that item, and put that like here, then I can indent this underneath it. So this tells me that everything that follows this until there's another text header has to do with assessments. That's a weak example, but anyway, that's about the closest thing you have to being able to put tabs up here for modules, which would be cool, but not part of the interface, unfortunately. Interesting question. And again, I see several requests for development shells. Send those to me in email, and I'll do those for you. Can we use that logo in our Canvas presentations? Which logo is that, Ardith?
The one you used.
Oh, the Online Learning Pathways logo?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. I can put that in to the chat tool so you can download it. Let me find my pictures library here. Go to O in alphabetical order. There it is. Oh. Okay, I just put that in the chat tool. You can download it and use it.
Thank you.
Don't know of any reason why you shouldn't. It's not like it's a high dollar corporate logo or anything like that. I love the Khan Academy. It has everything. Amen. Salman Khan is one of my heroes. I was actually doing screencasting long before he did, but he really took it to an amazing place. Made a nice little living for himself too. He gets money from Bill Gates. Do you suggest having only one syllabus created in Canvas, or would it be beneficial to have a printable PDF syllabus that mirrors or adds to a syllabus created within Canvas? Basically, it sounds like you're talking about the distinction between just putting a syllabus in a module, like I've done here, just as a file, or using the Canvas syllabus tool, which in which you can embed your syllabus, and you can also have a course summary with links to all of your assessments in the course listed in due date order. And I don't particularly like this course syllabus tool. That's what you get from the link in the course menu here, because it does give this course link, it does give these links to the this course summary that has the links to all your assessments in it. This allows your students to bypass your modules and go right to your assessments. And I just don't like that idea. It tempts students to just go and try the quiz without actually reading the material and so on. I know it seems silly that anybody would do that, but it does happen. So I like to force the students to access their assessments through the modules. And I can't do that if I use this syllabus tool. So that's just one person's opinion about that syllabus tool.
Dave, can I ask a question just on that topic?
Go right ahead.
How do I know after I speed grader graded my student's assignment, how, and they didn't make all the points, and I told them what they could do to get all the points.
Right.
How do I know that they were able to read it, that they could see it, because they didn't resubmit it?
Yeah.
How do
I hear you.
Is there a way to know?
They can, of course, access all of that information under their grades link in the course menu, which I assume you've left them that link in the course menu.
Could you just show us that? Make sure I goofed somehow. Maybe I didn't.
Oh, well, no. It'd be just look in your
assignment
course menu and make sure that that the grades tool is there. That gives you access to your grade book, but it gives them access to a list of their grades.
Move grades up into what they can see?
Exactly. Make sure that's there.
Thank you.
But that doesn't ensure that.
Oh.
You might also want to refer them to a tutorial I've made that shows them how to use that, because that grades tool is not the most intuitive thing around. And they can find their grade easily, but getting all the feedback
I want them to read the comments.
More challenging. You want them to see the comments.
Yeah.
And all the comments.
Yeah.
And I've got a tutorial for that.
Okay.
Which I will put the link to in the chat tool. That's a really good question. You can find that by just searching for student grades. Or you can just search for Canvas and work through all the Canvas tutorials, but there are dozens of them. Here's a tutorial on how to check your student grades in Canvas. And I'm going to put that link, and it shows them where to find all the different comments. And it's not real obvious from just looking at the tool where to find some of the comments. Some of them just don't pop out at you. So I'm going to put that at the bottom of the chat tool here. I think that URL is self-explanatory, and you can provide that as an external URL to your students. Or you can embed it, it's a YouTube video.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going back up. I'm still working my way down the chat tool here. My Zoom is only basic, free basic. And I can't use the polling and quiz options in Zoom. Any ideas? Well, you want a Confer Zoom account. Is this young lady still with us? Oh, darn it, I didn't get to this one in time. Does anybody have any doubts about it? Well, let me just run through this. So if she comes back and looks at the question, she can find this. You can get a free Confer Zoom Pro account, which has polling and all the bells and whistles, by going to conferzoom.org on the web. Conferzoom, one word, .org, O-R-G, is where faculty and staff at any California community college can request a free professional Zoom account under the sign up button here. Just fill out this form and click sign up, providing your district email, your EDU email, and they will give you a free Zoom Pro account that you can use to your heart's content that has all the bells and whistles. What if you don't have the whole course completed? Can you publish some and still work on the rest? Oh, I've never done that. Yeah, right. I won't show you my profile right now because I'm sure my nose just extended by about 3 feet. Sure, you can do that. It's not necessarily the recommended way to do things, but we've all done it. You can just create module by module and try to stay a couple of weeks ahead of the students. And if when you get having to teach online dumped on you with no warning, sometimes that's your only option. And you can just publish the new modules as you get them ready. And I have certainly been guilty of that myself in the past.
You have to work out of the course shell then, right?
I'm sorry?
You have to work out of your course shell instead of your...
Oh, yeah, you have to work in your live shell. Indeed. And just try to stay ahead of the students. Just tell them, I don't want you to see that yet because you're not ready for it.
Okay.
I want you to concentrate on this stuff, and I'll give you the other stuff when you're ready for it. And as soon as I get it in there. Been there, done that. Okay, let's see. Oh, talking about the pedagogical differences between like an 18-week course and a 10-week course. And would you have the same number of modules in each course or whatever? I would say you would probably organize the modules in a way that is most conducive to having the related content together and not worry too much about the number of weeks in the course. Unless, of course, you're organizing your modules by week.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, in which case you may have to compress that and have a module that's like week 2 and 3 together or something like that. Or just, yeah. And a lot of people find it useful if you know you're going to be teaching sometimes in 8 weeks and sometimes in 16 weeks. People find it useful to request 2 different development shells for the same course. One that they can set up with 16 modules and one with 8. And then not have to, modify it, copy one and then modify it and compress the modules every time and so on. So
well, our program is really pushing us to do the 18-week and Google Sites. But and my course outline of record only has 5 modules. And of course, the way I teach, I pull from practically every module each week, a little section of it. So I was thinking what I could do. There's 2 things I could do. In my new D shell, I could set it out for each week and then take the content I already have in my course that I've already created and just pull it into each week, right?
Right.
That's one thing I could do.
You can move that stuff around between modules so easily. It takes no time at all.
Yeah, so I thought I could do that. But pedagogically speaking, I was thinking it's maybe better to just kind of keep it the way it is and have the students have to keep going back to this module or that module or this one or that one and pull to basically do what I was doing, just to keep their minds active and kind of keep like, oh, we already covered that. And
but you
know what I
want
mean?
to make sure that doesn't confuse them.
And that's why I wanted to ask your opinion. Yeah.
One of the beauties of modular design is that the students always know what to do next, where to start and what to do next, wherever they are within the course. And having them have to hop around like that, that can confuse a student who's already kind of borderline, especially.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't think you can make it too simple in terms of access to the content.
So I'm thinking for my fall to make it 18 modules. One for each
Yeah.
week.
That works. And then within each module, even if you have to repeat links,
Right.
like if the resource you use more than once, you can
Right.
repeat links.
Like a video, they have to keep going back to. Yeah, but a little section of it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I'd keep it as simple as I possibly could.
Thank you.
Because anything you can do to reduce the cognitive load on your students that, that's particularly if it's cognitive load that doesn't really contribute to their learning.
Well, and ESL, when they're ESL as well, because I have a lot of elderly ESL as well, besides just elderly. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine trying to take French at this point in my life.
But that's why I'm so happy to know they could take the videos and put their language in, from the YouTube.
Yeah.
Wow.
Indeed. That is special.
That's exciting.
For
Yeah.
language teachers, yeah. Did that, I think. I want students to create a video, post it, and then have other students give feedback on it. What's the best way to do that? Oh boy, have I got something for you for that. The answer to that is Canvas Studio. And that's, of course, a whole nother session. And I will have that online, I swear to God, by tomorrow. I'll have that recording from yesterday online. I'm sure the captions will be there sometime today. And the Canvas Studio has a major feature that's designed to do just this. Now you can accomplish that sort of thing by just having the students post their videos in a discussion forum. And then the other students can comment on them and so on. But Canvas Studio has this feature built right in to it. Just real quick. Oh, I see a rabbit hole opening at my feet here because I love to talk about this, and I can spend a lot of time on it. But let me go back to Canvas here. Canvas
You're
Studio
making me laugh, David.
Yeah, you can see how tempted I am on this. Canvas Studio is in your global access menu here. If you just click on it, you get to your video library, which is probably empty before you, certainly will be empty before you start, but here I've put a bunch of videos in there already. And your students have access to this, just as you do. They have full access to Canvas Studio. They can make videos, they can store videos on Canvas Studio, and they can share videos with their peers. And they can post these videos in a discussion forum. But, and that would probably be the best infrastructure way to do this, because the Canvas Studio videos can be shared with other students and so on, but that gets a little cumbersome. So probably the best thing to do is to take a Canvas Studio video, for a student to take a Canvas Studio video and go to a discussion forum that you have set up in the course for this purpose. Let me go to a course. And go to discussions. Let me just make a discussion forum, excuse me, called video discussion. You call it something more germane. Always allow threaded replies. You can make it graded or not as you like. You could even allow liking if you want to. And then save that discussion. Now, a student can go to this discussion. Let's This is not exactly set up to demonstrate this, so let me make a quick change here in navigation, bring that discussions tool up to where a test student can access it. There it is. Just drag it up to my active course menu that students can use. And I've got a test student in this course that I'll log in as. I don't want to use the built-in test student for this. So I'm going to go to another web browser. I'm going to log into Canvas as that test student. And here's that course. I just made that label. That's handy. Find things. Student can go to discussions and go to that course. And go to that. Uh-oh. I didn't publish that thing. Silly me. Sorry. Go back to that discussion and publish it. Where did I put that?
It was under discussions.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. I didn't. This is not the right course, is it? Shoot. Wrong course. No, there it is. A, I didn't publish that discussion, and B, I apparently didn't save that. Yeah, I did. I saved the change in the course menu. All right, I just didn't publish it. All right, I can live with that. Now, if I refresh here, that discussion forum should pop up. There it is. This test student can access that discussion forum. They can reply. I would normally have a more detailed prompt up here for them, but they can go to external tools to their Canvas studio. And this student has already posted some videos, has created some videos, but they could record a video right here. I don't want to go through that right now because that's going to be a little longer than we want to spend, but there's some videos here. The student can select a video they like and just embed it in this discussion post. And all of the other students can see it. When they post the reply, there's that video. But look what's associated with this video. Comments. A student can be watching this video. Hi, Nona, this is Dave. Apparently that change in the Zoom settings that allows you to share your Zoom menus during a screen share takes a while to propagate through the Zoom system before it will. Okay, so a student can come in and say, bunner, what's a bunner? What's a, and just add that comment, and that comment shows up as a little mark right there on the timeline. So a student can see that there's a comment there, and then in the comments down here, they can read it. And they can go somewhere else. They can go further down the line in that video, and they can add another comment. And you can add comments to the video as well as the so, and everybody can add comments to that video. It's so cool. So it's almost like a discussion forum and a video at the same time. Love that feature in Canvas Studio. Another way you can use this comment feature is on your own videos. If you have a long video, like a Zoom recording, you can mark in the recording where different topics are located by putting in a comment and saying, this is where you look for this. And they can go straight to it and immediately watch it rather than having to work their way through the video to find it. So this is a terrific feature of Canvas Studio, or of any video that you put in Canvas Studio. You can also put YouTube videos into yours or somebody else's into Canvas Studio and do this commenting and so on, and marking up of it. So it's a terrific new tool. Do make the Canvas, and I'll get that recording up from yesterday, and then I'd love to see you in the session next week about that. So that's
excellent. Thank you, Dave. That's really helpful because it's something I've been wanting to do, that I want to do, but I wasn't really sure. And just to clarify, you're basically the idea that I have, I would first start it as a discussion. So I
think I would, yes.
Okay. And then you'll be posting a video that will repeat everything you
show
shared.
you how to use the features in Canvas Studio. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I'll be doing
Dave.
another live session on Tuesday from 2 to 4, I think it is.
Oh, of next week.
Next week, yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
we know that this is going to be a topic of hot interest, so we're doing several sessions right in a row on that, because obviously not everybody can make every session. Here's a question. How old is she? I'm guessing they're talking about my granddaughter. She's 9 years old.
Oh, because my granddaughter is 8 years old, and I wonder if she can enroll in your wife's class. Seriously.
Well, I will tell you this, what the most remarkable thing about those sessions has been that my little 9-year-old granddaughter is starting to take them over. She's starting to teach her grandmother how to use Minecraft.
Oh.
And she's sharing her screen, and she's doing all these tricks in Zoom at 9 years old.
Wow. Wow.
It's phenomenal how kids adopt things like this.
Well, if she can join.
And it's a little embarrassing that they pick it up so quickly and it takes us so long sometimes. So
if she can join, let me know, please.
She'll be getting an adjunct contract next week, probably. Oh my summer course ended August 12th. My summer students want to know how long they can access my course content. They'll be able to access your course content indefinitely. The course goes into a read-only status when the stop date passes, and the students can still find it. It vanishes from their dashboard, but they can go to their courses link and go to all courses at the bottom of the courses link and go down to past enrollments, and they can still access the course. They just can't submit anything in it, but they can access the course content. And that course will stay on the system, as far as we know, indefinitely.
Now, if I haven't set an end date yet, is that a problem? Because I never typed in
The end
start
date
and end.
is set automatically for it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So but you can extend, if you need to have students working later than that end date in the course, you can change the end date for the course.
Okay.
But otherwise, it'll automatically expire on the last day of the term.
Okay.
And then the students can still get into it, but they can't do anything in it.
Past
But you can
enrollments.
change that by going to your course. And this is your prerogative. Oops, I'm in as a student here, excuse me. You can go to your to settings, to the course details tab, and here's your end date, and you can just change that. You can extend it so your students can work longer.
Thank you.
People do that all the time. I've known, well, you got to turn it in before Tuesday because I got to turn your grades in on Wednesday. But that's, of course, up to you. But by default, it ends on the last day of the semester.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. I would I'll show that to my wife. I'd like to enroll my 8-year-old granddaughter in your wife's class. I will show her that for sure before I turn this off today. We're still social distancing. Boy, I hear that. Did he already go over how to transfer one shell to another shell, the content from one shell to another shell within the same Canvas school district? I did, but I'll do that again because that's a very important thing to know how to do. To move content from one shell into another, to copy content from one shell into another, you go to the shell, the destination shell, the shell where the content's going to be put in. And let me see here if I can find a shell that I can just kind of trash and then here's one that I just used for junk. It's a blank shell, okay? If I want to copy the content from another shell, this would be what your live course would look like, for instance, when you first get the shell. So to copy your content from your development shell or from a previous semester's shell, you can do either one. You go to Settings, do Import Course Content on the right, in the task menu on the right, in the Settings page. If the course is in our same Canvas system, and remember the same Canvas system serves Miramar, Mesa City, and all of continuing ed. Anything in the San Diego Community College District is on this one Canvas system. So you just, in that event, you just select copy a Canvas course. You then tell Canvas where the source is of the content, the course that you want to copy from. And let me just, you just start typing the name of the course and keep typing until you see it pop up in this list here. Let's say that's the one that has the content I want to copy from. I click that. I'll probably take all content rather than just some of the content. And then I just click import. The process starts, and you can leave now and go do something and wait for it to finish. Depending on the size of the course, this can take anywhere from a minute to an hour if it's a huge course. There's a lot of content and a lot of files in it. This one's going to be over in a minute. So there, it's completed. There were 2 issues. You can see what the issues were. Usually those issues are nothing to worry about. Those are unimportant. And then you just click home, and you've got all that content in there. So that's all there is to count. Yes.
But it's a different college.
Pardon? It's at the same college, right?
No, mine is different college.
Oh, a different college or a different district?
District.
Different district. In that event, if it's a different district, to copy a course from one district to another between different Canvas systems, you go first to the system where the course is located now, and you bring up that course, and you copy. You go to the Settings tab again, the Settings link again in the course menu, and you export the course content from the course where it's currently located. You select course as export type and just click Create Export is all you have to do to copy all of your content into a compressed file. The process, you can leave this page and come back later and it will be done. That didn't take long. So you'll then get a link to the export, which is stored on Canvas. You just click that link, download it to an appropriate place on your local computer. Save it. Then you go to the other, you log into the other Canvas system where you want that course to be copied in. You will have to have a blank course shell on that system to put this content into. You can't just drop it in and have it create a new course for you. You've got to have your administrator on that system create a new course. Like it could be a development shell that you've requested through our system, that's fine. Or it could be a live shell that you've already been provided with automatically. But anyway, you go in, you go to a blank shell into which you want to import that content. I'll use this one. I don't think it has anything in it I need to keep. I can clean it out. Be very careful using this tool, the Reset Course Content tool. That erases everything in a course, so be careful that you're in the right course when you do that. Okay, but now I have a blank shell. I can import that stuff I just exported from another system because I saved that export file on my local hard drive. I can go to Settings in the blank course, Import Course Content, and select, instead of Copy a Canvas course, I select Import a Canvas Course Export Package, which is what I created on the other system. I've saved that file to my local hard drive, so I click this Choose File button, and I go and I look for that file. Oop. Canvas Course Exports, there it was. I think it was this one. And click Open. I'm going to take all the content, though I could take just some of the content if I wanted to. Click Import. And you get a process going. This takes a little longer because Canvas has to unpack that export shell and then start it. But within a few minutes, then you'll have the content from that other Canvas, the Canvas course on the other Canvas system at another district into your course here. And you can do all this without any intervention from any administrators or anything, except perhaps to create the blank shell into which to import the content from the other district. There were 7 issues here. We got some security parameters. I don't know what that is. And missing, none of this is worrisome, so just forget about that. And now I've got course content. So that's how you move a course from one district to another, assuming both districts are using Canvas.
Yeah, that's amazing. A life savior. Thank you.
Oh, great. Yeah, there's no point in having to recreate a Canvas course at another district if you've got it already sitting somewhere else on another Canvas system. That would be really, that would require a good number of glasses of wine to reconcile you to that process. Would save your liver here. Let's see. Yeah, we just answered that again. Let's see. Did that. I think. Let's see, how can you adjust the lessons after you have assessed your students if you have completed the whole module and published it? Well, you can always make changes to modules even while the course is running. It's not ideal, not an ideal situation, of course. You can always go in and edit those modules and add new links and take old ones out or replace links. But if students have already worked through that part of the course, then you've got to make a big announcement and say, whoops, here's something new in module 3 that you didn't have before, and I want you to go back and do that, and so on. You got a lot of communication on your hands to do that. It's much better, of course, to have the module set the way you want it before you make it visible to students, before you publish it. How do you think the best way to post homework? Definitely as an announcement or as a module with a date, both. There's nothing wrong when you post a new homework assignment. There's nothing wrong with sending out an announcement to the effect that there is a new homework assignment available. And you can even put a link into the announcement that will take them right to the homework assignment. But you definitely also want it in a module so that the students can access it from there as well.
Thank you for that, Dave.
You're certainly welcome. Here's a question we get. This is also yours, I believe. Default access for Canvas for the students is the first day of the semester, correct? Can I change that? Yes. You have to wait, of course, until the students are in the shell. But once you see them in your roster or in your gradebook or both, you should be both, you can change that start date. Under settings, we've given you the capability to do that. Boy, that student services wouldn't let us do that for years and years and years and years. But our new dean came in. He basically just did it. I think he did it and just didn't ask anybody. So you now have that right. You can go to the start date for the course, and you can just make it earlier. And publish the course, of course. And your students can start working in there. And nobody can tell you not to.
Dave, are the students?
Yes.
They're supposed to somehow accept an invitation to Canvas. How do we know if they did or didn't? What?
No, they don't have to accept an invitation. They're just, the automated process just puts them in. It doesn't give them, doesn't ask them about it. It just puts them in. They'll be in the course, and as soon as you publish the course, they can access it.
Okay.
After the start date.
Yes.
But before the start date, if you publish the course before the start date, they can actually get in and see some things. So be careful of that. If you don't want them in there before the first day of class, don't publish the class. If you don't want them in there at all, don't publish the class until the night before.
Okay.
But if you don't care, you can set the start date back and publish it as soon as they show up in your roster. You can publish it and let them start working, and you have that. That's your prerogative.
Because today when I went through my people list, it had a tab I could click to re-invite in Canvas. I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, but you don't have to invite.
No. Okay.
That's handled automatically here, because that would be an impossible task to do manually for all the courses and all the students we have. That has to be done automatically.
Okay, thank you.
So you can actually add students manually to your course if you want to, if they have an account on our system. And you want, like you say, you have a student from a previous semester who needs to make up an incomplete, you can add that student into your current course manually. And that's, again, is your prerogative. You get to control who can see your course. That's your intellectual property, not ours. Right. Let me see. when can we complete the online faculty certification program that we're enrolling in right now? We need to wait. No, and have this program completed in June 2021. No, you can complete that course as quickly and as often or as soon as you like. That is entirely self-paced, and you can finish it whenever you have the time to do so. You can't complete it after the end of June 2021, but you can complete it anytime before that, and we hope you will complete it long before that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, don't wait. Would be my answer to that question. No. Okay. Well, that's gotten me to the bottom of the chat tool with all the questions that were put in there. There were some great ones in there. Great questions overall.
Okay. So
Do you have any more?
please remember to delete my two.
Yes, I will. I've got to get. I'm 2 or 3 days behind on email right now. I'm sorry. I got to get in there and do that. I've had a number of sessions this week, so including a new one that I had to spend a lot of time on, but I will get that done.
Okay. Yeah, my last one, that's the good one.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Yeah, that's why. So I'm ready. Yeah. Direct.
Okay.
I have one final question, Dave.
Of course.
So, do I need to ask you for a separate D shell for fall? I had been, the course has been assigned to 2 different locations. One's ECC, one's Mid-City. And when I called Canvas, I had them make me a shell for ECC. I didn't know that I had gotten switched to Mid-City. So do they, because the Canvas person, when I called to make the D shell, he was very adamant, well, do you want ECC or Mid-City? So I told him ECC for my D shell for fall.
No,
but
you can use
I'm
that.
so it doesn't matter.
You can copy that from that into anything. So no,
okay.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I just didn't want them to, our district to delete all of the courses, you know.
No. Well, we would never delete your development shells.
Oh, good. Okay.
Oh, no way. Those are yours. If you decide you don't need one anymore and you want us to delete it, we'll do it upon request. But we would never do it without asking.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you.
No. You would be able to be justifiably horrified and incensed if we did something like that. We would never do that.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Anybody? You bet. Thank you all so much for all the great questions and the very nice comments in the chat tool. I'll hope to see you again soon. And take care. Be safe.
Dave.
Thank you, Dave. You're awesome.
Yes. Oh, well, thank you.